gate that reeled him in has brought me ut o den går fyrlade ways till det clear licht och day. I spied him with the lassies, dangling them on his knee, monoplin for breast, like the great bairn he is, bra suitor for the king's daughter. But hero Thetherio says he ticed him atween, called Stanna was doon and doon till the centre. Oh, my black dread, darkness like midnight, beasts white and blued, a stroke of the bricht blade, a skirl split the walls, the beast was dead. Do I sit here on Naxos, mangst myrtle and hinny thyme, and watch his black sail slide our doon the sun's track, tear the world's end. The harest is come, frame we vines, while music springs, and I would learn a new dawn. About in boots, you little think how will the wet and dirt of lady suits. Mark well our tales of woe, and sure they will your hearts appall as we sweep ankle deep through the mud upon our moor.
A day may smile most brightly to tempt us forth to walk. In vain we look for pleasant paths, through mire alone we stalk. In vain our bows may talk to us, we can't to give them ear, as we try with a sigh through the wet and dirt to steer. In vain in light and splendor the glorious sun goes down, we cannot be beholding him and beholding to our gown. In vain do gold and crimson clouds adorn the western sky,
for the spots and black dots on our dresses all we spy.
In vain the roaring waters rush sparkling down the fall, we cannot look upon the streets sad thoughts it would recall. We would think upon the wash tub when the frothy foam we'd see, like soap suds where our duds after promenade must be. And grudge not your assistance, but kindly take in hand to strew out path with gravel brought from the pebbly strand. Oh, let your carts and horses, your money and goodwill be at hand, at command, for to serve the ladies still.
And ye Balishan and gentlemen, unto our walks attend, and oh, in pity aid us our evil ways to mend.
So for your welfare ever, we in duty bound shall pray,
at your feet still may meet all through life a smooth pathway. Here lies our land, every yard, beneath swift clouds, glad glints of sun, belonging to none but itself. We are mere transients who sing its westland winds and ferny breeze, northern lights and silver tides, small folk playing our part. Come all ye, the country says, you and me, who take me most to heart. Here lies our land, every end, beneath swift clouds, glad winds of sun, belonging to none but itself. We are mere transients who sing its westland winds and ferny breeze, northern lights and silver tides. Small folk playing our part, don't let it bring you down. It's not the smoke from funeral pyres, not crematorium deposit on childhood games, not another city burning, not here, not tonight. Though someone whispers, all fires on a fire, it's not vile fare.
at the refinery,
Not every dwarf
from the obstacle,
rev up the Suno door. Last judgments, just another hand undone. Behold to the furnace. If the sunset prints and blues, just another bad conversion to the Quattrocento. each one a 5 minutes heartbeat. Oh, fire's the stone fire. I think as we walk over the lands towards our blaze.
So long trying to paint them, failing to paint their shadows on the concrete path. They are less white than a bleaching out of green. If you go down on your knees and tilt their petals towards you,
you'll look up under their petticoats into a heart of gold, like secret sunlight and every tiny striped green awnings that lend a kind of frantic small-scale festive air.
It is the first day of February, and I nearly picked a bunch for you, my dying friend, but remembered in time how you prefer to leave them, to wither back into the earth. How you tell me it strengthens the stalk.
When the black herds of the rain were grazing in the gap of the pure cold wind, and the watery hazes of the hazel brought her into my mind, I thought of the last honey by the water that no hive can find.
Bright mist was drenching through the branches when she wandered again,
turning silver out of dark grasses,
where the skylark had lain,
and her voice coming softly over the meadow was the mist becoming rain. At midday on the year's midnight, into my mind came. I saw the new moon late yestreen with the old moon in her arms. No, no, there is no moon, of course. There's nothing very much of anything to speak of in the sky except a gay drage grayness, rain laden over Glasgow and today. There is the very least of evenness for us to get, but the light comes back. The light always comes back, and this begins tomorrow with however many minutes more of sun and serotonin. Meanwhile, there will be the winter moon for us to love the longest, fighting the frosty sky among the sharpest stars, and lines of old songs we can't remember why we know, or when first we heard them. Will I come back once in a blue moon to us, unbidden? swift clouds, glad glints of sun, belonging to none but itself. We are near transients who sing its westland winds and ferny breeze, northern lights and silver tides. Small folk play in our part. Come all ye country says, you and me, who take me most to heart. Here lies our love, heavy yet, beneath swift clouds, glad glints of sun, belonging to none but itself. We are mere transients who sing its westland winds and ferny breeze, northern lights and silver tides. Small folk play in our part. Come all ye, the country says, you will be who take me most to heart.
We've had a catty as we're pet for more than 13 years. Although she's geriatric, getting slightest sound she hears. No doot, a bonny looking beastie, no chode, lose or tail. Eyes still brished, his are her teeth, and no fit yeed ca frail. Fae clay cam, she has a kecklin in a box for shoes, a groon black ball of softest fur, her eyes gret big let cruise. She twar 3 names afore she'd answer, maybe bidden a fancy. Yan as we thought we'd do a cat, she failed ways, ken I shan't see. A proper woman in her ways, you'd know ken fit she's thinking. 1 minute stretched across your lap, just staring hard, unblinking. Nick she'd turn ferocious based and swipe ye wi' her claws, or lick ye first, then grasp your flesh atween her vice-like jaws. She's no ways fae, and day she's born goes nuts for near her's win. Lopes aboot the furniture, demented wi' a grin. Spread over her feline features, she pretend I was a moose, and stalk my passing ankles, tase me all about the who's. Ten upon eccentricity is fast. sartel sing. She paws my mom across the moat where we ill-tricked ting. Ken's mom calafo way at and she'll open outside door. Release her fae her agony fan lugis get so sore. We win no one till pert we her. I'd miss her for a start. For hadn't on my blankets, for she slumbers on my cart. She's mistress or fine domain, we're at her beck and call. Who'd win the swap her fory world, we're man we whisker all. And nobody fight, I ain't nobody tea. Somebody with no day for a self-taught nobody like me. Somebody's there in a public eye. Somebody's got something to say. And that's nobody's never sought to hear a speech or tell a joke. Nobody never tops the chain. Stones, ashes, clays, and polishes she. Nobody's work is never dean. They never seek nobody's opinion, making the nobody this na hey until nobody lifts his care or tea. See them freak happens to somebody. I'm nobody's sorry. Her watch is posted from the south. Its black box ticks the whole way. The accident happens, the funeral, the flowers fade. Great in soil shifts with powdery sighs. Light drifts, changes. Her smell is gone, the voice of the beloved, like any old memory strays. A watch in its dark drawer stops at a 7:45. A gale blows loose a bird's nest lined with silk and gold red strands. Her smell is gone, the voice of her beloved, like any old memory strays. And when I find it in the wind-wrecked yard, I see her again at the window, brushing her
The day dawns with scent of must and rain, of open soil, dark trees, dry bedroom air. Under the fading lamp, half dressed my brain, idling on some compulsive fantasy. I towel my shaven jaw and stop and stare, riveted by a dart, exhausted eye, a dry down turning mouth. It seems again that it is time to learn to which, for the time being, I return in this untiring, crumbling place of growth. Now plainly in the mirror of my soul, I read that I have looked my last on youth and little more, for they are not made whole, that reach the age of Christ.
Below my window the awakening trees,
Hacked clean for better bearing, stand defaced, suffering their brute necessities. And how should the flesh not quail that span for span is mutilated more, and slow distaste I fold my towel with what grace I can, not young and not renewable, but we've had a catty as our pet for more than 13 years. Although she's geriatric, getting slightest sound she hears. No due to bunny looking beastie, no chode loops or tail. I still brished his her teeth, and no fitted kafrail. Fickly cam she as a kettlin in a box for shoes, a ruined black ball, a softest fur, her eyes gret big like coos. She twar 3 names afore she'd answer, maybe didna fancy he and his wee thought would do a cat. She filled with skin a shancy.
a proper woman in her ways, he no can fit. She's thinking 1 minute stretched across your lap, just staring hard, unblinking mitch. She turned ferocious based and swipey with her claws, or licky first and grasp your flesh atween her vice leg jaws. She's no way stay a day, she's born, goes nuts for near her to win. Loves about their furniture, demented with a grin. Spread over her feline features, she pretend I was a moose, and stalk my passing ankles, chase me all about the who's. Ting hacked on eccentricity, as fan a startle sing.
people know what it's like to be called a cunt in front of their children, to be short for the rent, to be short for the light, to be short for school books, to wait in community welfare waiting rooms full of smoke, to wait 2 years to have a tooth looked at, to wait another 2 years to have a tooth out.
Seen tooth, to be strangled by your varicose veins, but you're 98th on the list. To talking to a banana on a job search scheme, to talking to a banana in a job search dream.
To be out of work, to be out of money, to be out of fashion, to be out of friends,
To be in for the Vincent de Paul man, to be in space for the milkman.
Sorry, Mommy isn't in today. She's gone to Mars for the weekend.
To be in Puerto Rico this week for the blanket man. To be in Puerto Rico next week for the blanket man.
to be dead for the coal man.
Sorry, Nani passed away in her sleep. Overdose of coal in the teapot.
To be in hospital unconscious for the rent man.
To be second hand,
To be second class,
to be no class,
to be looked down on,
to be walked on,
to be pissed on, to be shut on, and other people don't.
when you are old and gray and full of sleep, and nodding by the fire, take down this book and slowly read and dream of this soft look your eyes had once, and of their shadows deep. How many loved your moments of glad grace, and loved your beauty with love false or true? But one man loved the pilgrim soul in you, and loved the sorrows of your changing face.
And bending down beside the glowing bars, murmur a little sadly how love fled, and paced upon the mountains overhead, and hid his face amid a crowd of stars.
I told my dad, I told my grows of corn, with stites and dows and dows and dows and tours, that lead me at this face again, my old in moors, and the sand of the way through this pours. How many loved your moments of glad grace, and loved your beauty with love false or true? But one man loved the pilgrim soul in you, and loved the sorrows of your changing face. And bending down beside the glowing bars, murmur the little sad face amid a crowd of stars.
The birds sit nodding on the tree. All nature now prepares for rest, but a rest prepared there's none for me. The trumpet sounds to war's alarms, the drums they beat, the fifes they play. Come Mary, cheer me with thy charms, for the morn I will be far away.
Good night and joy, good night and joy, good night and joy be with you all, for since it's so that I must go, good night and joy be with you.
Dear, I mourn to leave my native shore, to leave my aged parents here, and the bonny lass whom I adore. But tender thoughts maun now be hushed, when danger calls I must obey. The transport waits us on the coast, in the morn I will be far away.
Sea beat coast, though bleak and drear thy mountains be, when on the heaving ocean cast I'll cast a wishful look to thee. And now, dear Mary, fare thee well, may Providence thy guardian be. Or in the camp or on the field I'll heave a sigh and think on thee.
Tell us a story, they said. He thought a long time, I'm sure, like someone searching blind in a cave. These are pieces of story, he said, like the charred ends of burned wood and odd glow of ember, lighting like an eye when blown. Suniva, an Irish princess, lusted after by some chieftain thug, fled with her followers across the sea into fragments of islands, blown wherever God would, into the gnarled edges of western Norway. Hidden out of storm, a place driven by flocks of snow, a blue wind all summer, bicycles go by in twos and threes. There's a dance in Billy Brennan's barn tonight, and there's the half-tall code of mysteries, and the wink and elbow language of delight. 8:30, and there is not a spot upon a mile of road, no shadow thrown, but might turn out a man or a woman, not a footfall tapping secrecies of stone. I have what every poet hates in spite of all the solemn talk of contemplation. Oh, Alexander Selkirk knew the plight of being king and government and nation. A road, a mile of kingdom, I am king of banks and storms and every blooming thing.
The patterns of the door, it's time my love was pure, my life was flowing, and someday I waited alone anymore. What a mass was lost in my heart, and I was a devil to see, and I was stars, a powerless and free.
I was ready hard and souls of steel, and all the ternites, sickles, wood and schleien. None ever now was enter the cinders. I have loved a fair one and forever. I want the train of love, I want I stand. I was in such another burning dead.
I fall into there with fight and tears, for I'm afraid my soul's money years.
The bicycles call my into them freeze.
There's a dance in Billy Brennan's barn tonight,
And there's the half-tall code of mysteries,
and the wink and elbow language of delight.
8:30, and there is not a spot upon a mile of road, no shadow thrown, that might turn out a man or woman, not a footfall tapping secrecies of stone. I had what every poet hates in spite of all the solemn talk of contemplation.
No, Alexander Selkirk knew the plight of being king and government and nation.
A Rhode Island kingdom, I am king of banks and stones, and every blooming How should I not be glad to contemplate the clouds clearing beyond the dormer window, and the high tide reflected on the ceiling? There will be dying, there will be dying, but there is no need to go into that. The poems flow from the hand unbidden, and the hidden source is the watchful heart. The sun rises in spite of everything, and the far cities are beautiful and bright. I lie here in a riot of sunlight, watching the daybreak and the clouds flying. Everything is going to be alright. Tonight I am white and full. My surface is all curves and craters, but you don't mind. You have traveled alone through the dark, through the vacuum of dark, training your hands for this task, building imaginary engines. Tonight I am white and full. You are the man on me, and I am the moon. This is the kind of territory you were born to navigate, you know by heart. Every treacherous route through these white dews, you have drawn maps of every scar, and you sense storms. Your compass does not work here, that you are sexy in your spaceman suit. Tonight I am white and full. You are the man on me, and I am the moon. We twirl easily in orbit around the days, the months, has bled, Scots when Bruce has often led. Welcome to your gory bed, or to victory. Now's the day and now's the hour. See the frontal battle hour. See approach proud Edward's power, chains and slavery. War will be a traitor knave. What can fill a coward's grave? What say base as dear slave? Let him turn and flee. War for Scotland's king and law. Freedom's sword will strongly draw. Free men stand or free men fall. Let him follow me. By oppression's woes and pains, by your sons in servile chains, we will drain our dearest veins, but they shall be free. Lay the proudest usurpers low. Tyrants fall in every foe. Liberty's in every blow. Let us do or die. By hate you what has led, Scots one Bruce has often led. Welcome to your gory bed, these lonely isles in the air, there dwelled a gorgeous maiden fair. Her cheeks were red, her eyes were blue. She had yellow curling hair to subdue, which caught the eye and then the heart of one who could never be meant, a lover of so true a maid, or fair a form as she laid. Across the lake in the air dwelled a youth she held most true air, and ever since her infancy he had watched those eyes so blue. Standing stones of the lonely isles, gazing out to sea. Standing stones of the lonely isles, bring my love to me. The land runs out into the sea. It's a narrow neck of land, where weird and grim the lonely stones in a circle they stand. One bonny moonlit happy day they met at that sad place, with her heart in glee and the beams of love were shining on her face. When her lover came and he grasped her hand, and what loving words they said. They talked of future's happy days, as through the stones they strayed. They walked toward the lover's stone, and through it passed their hands. They plighted their constant troth, sealed by love's steadfast bands. He kissed his maid, and then he watched her that lonely bridge go. For little did he think he wouldn't see his darling more. Standing stones of the lonely isles, gazing out to sea. Standing stones of the lonely isles, bring thy love to me. Standing stones of the lonely isles, as the wolf that guards the gate. Love is the food of music, art, poetry. It fills us and fuels us and fires us to create. Love is terror, love is sweat, love is bashed pillow, crumpled sheet, unenviable fate. Love is the honor that kills and saves, and nothing will ever let that high ambiguity abate. Love is the crushed ice that tingles and shivers and clinks, fidget fame for the sugar-drenched absinthe to fall on it and alter its state. With love you send a probe so far from the globe, no one can name the shows, the voids, the belts, the songs, the drags, the flares. It signals all to leave all and to navigate. Silent comrade of the distances, know that space dilates with your own breath. Ring out as a bell into the earth from the dark rafters of its own high place. And should the world itself forget your name, say this to the still earth I slow. Say this to the quick stream I am. Then watch what feeds on you grow strong. transformations through and through. What in your life has most tormented you? If the water's sour, turn it into wine. I'm sure that itself forget your name. Say this Under the gritty lid of winter, each ice puddle's broken plate, cracked to a star the morning, assembling itself into black and white this slow dawn. Its developing tray cold steams off the grass. The frosted yarrow and sea holly smoke in the new sun. In a barbershop mirror, I study this museum of men through glass, their shaving brushes, talc and wetted razors. The bottles of bay rum, hair tonic, astringents long, leather strops, those faded photographs of hairstyles. That blue barbershop jar on the counter, dense with pickled combs and scissors like a failed aquarium. A special drawer full of Durex copies of Parade. The plane from England scores a skater's track across the icy sky on the promenade frost. Thistles the railings, you hear the drawl of the wave that goes raucous at bins. The day's first a Labrador, his tail flogging the surf. The quarantine, the city lies behind, bilge deep in cobbles, listing flying the yellow jack, typhoid in its quick work. On the floor of the butcher's, blood has rolled through the sawdust and become round and soft. We found the blood buds in corners as the shop was closing and gathered the biggest ones in handkerchiefs to take them to the woods, break them open for their jelly. In the light from the blaze, there's a fox nailed to a fence post, the tricked god. Hiding from his wounds, we have nothing to feed to the fire's many beaks, but some nearly apples and a bottle of haze lemonade, which explodes. I dig in my pockets and find the Salvation Army picture of Jesus, tender it to the flame. We've skipped school lunches for some milk, a rowie and a mutton thigh, a twist of penny sweets, old bananas, licorice sticks. One special day, some hard bonfire toffee and a lecky bed, watching the Ferniers fight in the kirkyard in among the grades, one gore, both the other 10, so we could kick him in the face. Reels I stand from boats to shore, filling fish boxes in silver rows, a slush of ice and gauze. All day till nightfall, but all you hear is the ice tightening back together, and the cats crying the dreadful way they have, like a sound of babies singing lullabies to other baby. I knew how children came, so I looked for the stork in the cliffs over the mussel pools, in the quarry ledges, a chimney stack, so line, a walking pylon, search for everywhere in the gantries of the storeworks, in the black pines that shew my
children came, so I looked for the store. In the cliffs over the mussel pools, in the quarry ledges, the chimney stacks all along the walking pylons. Search for her everywhere, in the gantries of the storm woods, in the black pines, that she might take me back.